Welcome to the weekend show with Mediumjay. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna think this is cap. A lot of people are gonna be like, yo, this is ridiculous. This is fucking just like that movie. You know what I'm saying? This is just like that Weekend at Bernie's movie. But this really did happen a while back. Me and the boys went to a party at the White House with President Biden, man. Biden invited us over. He said, "Come on, man. We got drinks, we got drugs, we got bitches, we got these babes. They getting real flirty. Come through, man." And I'm like, "Yo, Biden, man, I can't party like that no more." You know what I'm saying? It's like just one last go. This is what Biden was on the phone. One last go of it, and then get lit, and then you can go chill out and get your shit together after. But we got to get shit faced before that. And I'm saying, man, let's just say I went to the party, right, and things got a little bit out of hand. Now Hunter, right off the bat, was there. His son, Hunter Biden, was there, and he was fucking handing out coke bags like it was fucking punch. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you get. He had these big fucking baggies too. As soon as you walked in, man. As soon as you walked in the door, man, he got half an 8-ball of coke, and that's like just like the party favor. It was like a party gift. It was just like, yo, this is just something to keep you going, just to walk in the door. You know what I mean? And this coke was approved by CIA. It was approved by the CIA, and that's just to start it off, man. As soon as we stepped in, man, he hands us a fucking bag of coke, me and the boys, right? And just then, the man himself, Joe motherfucking Biden, appears out of nowhere like fucking Jay Gatsby with a fucking. He's like, I got with a golden bag of coke. He did like remember in the scene, The Great Gatsby, man, when he held up his champagne glass and it was all slow motion. It was what Biden was doing, man. Biden was like held up a baggie for us, right? And he's like, "Come on, guys, you don't want my son's shitty coke. That's the kind of coke that makes you fuck hookers raw and fucking film it." You know what I'm saying? He looks around. I got the kind of coke. He looks to the left, he looks to the right. He's like, "I got the kind of coke that makes, I got the kind of coke that smells." Oh no. He said, "I got the kind of coke that smells like a 9-year-old's dandruff. Come on and follow me, boys." Now this is wild, man. The party was fucking epic, man. It was fucking lit. But Joe Biden takes us to his personal coke room, right? This is like the secret room inside the White House. It was like a lot of twists and turns, and at one point we had to go blindfolded. I think we were fucking going over a bridge at one point. God, I couldn't tell we were blindfolded, right? But it's like the secret room in the White House, and it was first designed by Nixon, decorated by Clinton, and then even Obama put a sound system in that can produce literal audio gasms. It's like audio orgasms. I think they used it in the Vietnam War. You know what I'm saying? With Fortunate Son. It's like a boombox that once hit, immediately you gotta fucking change your pants. You know what I mean? You're just gushing out liquids out of your genitals, guy or girl. You know what I'm saying? It just produces audio gasms, right? That's how good the sound system is for the speakers. Now, Joe fell multiple times on the way to the room. You know what I'm saying? He fell multiple times. He just kept tripped over the rug at one point. He tripped over. I mean, we were blindfolded, and we ended up helping this nigga out. We're like, "All right, Joe, you good? He's good. Okay, keep leading the way, right?" But me and the homies just said, "Hey, man, he's been under a lot of stress." You know what I'm saying? Me and my homies were like, that he's just been under a lot of stress. He's the fucking president, right? He's been busy and shit. You know what I'm saying? He said, "Jay, I got a special batch for you and your boys." He pulls out a golden baggie, right? This is a golden baggie. And for some reason, he winks to an invisible camera. and my homie calls him out on it, too. He's like, "Hey, yo, Biden, what the fuck, man? What the fuck? Why'd you do that?" And Biden starts sweating and mumbling over his words, right? And I go, yo, who the fuck you talking to, man? Who'd you wink to, Joe, Mr. Biden? I'm like, yo, who the fuck was that, right? You got this shit on thing. You've got this shit like recorded and are we being monitored right now, right? This is very suspicious, right? And he pulls out a red button, right? He pulls out this red button and he fucking hits it. And he says, look, guys, I didn't mean anything by that, man. I'll turn off the cameras. I'll get them to stop recording us and shit. You know what I mean? And like, look, now we are in complete privacy. This is what Joe says. He says we are in complete privacy. You know the secret security cameras always gotta hassle a nigga. That's what he said. He actually said that while going in for a pound. He said, you know, they're always trying to hassle a nigga. And we looked at each other and like, alright, man, fucking pounder. I mean, when in Rome, right? When in Rome, you think so? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna lie, man. I think something was up at the time. I turned to my homeboy, and he's shaking his head. You know what I mean? And he with his eyes darts to the bag, right? And he darts to the bag like, yo, something suspicious. Like, I got a special little baggie for you. You know what I'm saying? You don't know, this motherfucker might wanna, I don't know, drug us and fucking knock us out and rape us or something. You know what I mean? Run through our pockets. We don't know what the president's up to right now, right? It's fucking very suspicious, right? And I'm gonna be real, I ain't trust that special gift, you know what I mean, from the sitting president. So when he was cutting up the lines and shit with his black card, he also just made a joke. You know, this is a side note. He made a joke. Like, you know, something about the N-word pass came up, you know what I mean? He's like, I got the black card. It's like a special N-word pass, right? While he's cutting up the coke, and we're like, again, man, you know what I mean? We're like, we kind of just looked at each other, like, shaking our heads, like, goddamn, dude. You already got you're already president. Stop fucking pandering, right? But, you know, I ended up fucking swapping the coke lines. You know what I mean? His line with mine. You know what I mean? And, as you know, mine and the boys, right? So he is giving us the gold, all what's left in the golden bag. So I just kind of like rotated the mirror so the line, he got confused, right? And Biden, he's fucking old, right? He's old. He couldn't tell. I did it pretty much right in front of him too, right? But he's like, so we're, you know, I think at one point Biden said, which one was mine again? And I said, that one was yours. This one was the golden bag for us. He was none the wiser, right? Now, Biden came alive when he took that line. You know what I mean? Oh, wait, sorry, no. Sorry. He took his line, I took mine. Now, Biden, you know, along with the boys took their lines accordingly. We fucking hit it. And Biden came alive, bro. This motherfucker just got up and his eyes were all bloodshot, you know what I mean? With more energy than I've ever seen this dude have before, bro. He had a glow in his eyes, and he gets somebody, he says, you guys just took enough fentanyl to kill 7 George Floyds, right? Enough fentanyl to shut down Mexico and China for the weekend, bro. You know what I mean? They ain't working no more. They sold enough. Enough fentanyl that JFK would have walked out of that Cadillac like, what's wrong, y'all? The motherfuckers look like y'all seen a ghost or something with a hole in his head. And I interrupt Biden. I say, hey, Joe. And I show him that I swapped the lines. You know what I'm saying? I show him that I rotated the mirror that we were doing the blow off of. I said, I swapped the lines, buddy. And he clutches his chest and he passes out back into his seat, head slumped over, right? You know what I mean? And he's all fucking, he's just dead, right? You know, one of my buddies goes to check. This is the buddy that fucking freaks out about a lot of this buddy, like, you know what I mean? Like, you ever have a homie that, you know, you get too high with, you know, and he just starts tripping and starts getting into the very paranoid states. Like he's like, oh man, you know, what if the CIA comes down to kill us and shit? And I go, nigga, chill. This ain't going. I mean, he tried to fucking kill us. We would have been dead if we followed whatever these niggas wanted, right? But then, just as we're trying to figure out what's going on, the Secret Service radios in Biden on a walkie-talkie. You know, Mr. Biden, you turned your cameras off. We're just confirming that is the cat in the bag. Can you confirm? Now, I can't do a good Joe Biden impression, but my buddy was in that motherfucker, and he grabbed the radio, and he said, you know what? These guys are all right. I can't. I'm not the one that. Imagine it's good though. Imagine it sounds legit, right? Imagine this part is where it's. He's doing it perfect. He's doing it perfect, right? You know what? These guys are all right. I'm giving them a pass. I'm giving them a presidential pass. That's what he said to the motherfucker. Now, the guy on the other line was a bit confused. He says, you know, pardon me, sir, but this wasn't in the plan. My homie, you know, let's just call him Biden too at this point. You know, he responds with, I don't give a damn what was in the plan. Now, here's how it's gonna go. These men are my friends. They're now friends of the state. You know what I mean? Give them the pass and they'll continue to enjoy this fine party, right? But Mr. Biden, and fucking Biden 2 interrupts him quick, and there will be no buts, god damn it. And then he looks to me and he smiles. This is what my buddy's doing. He looks to me and smiles. Unless they're attached to an 8-year-old who smells like chocolate. I go, god damn, this is fucking wild, dude. We are literally actively pretending to be the president, people. I slap my homie and I go, dog, why the fuck did you say we? Why the fuck did you say we will stay at the party, right? If they find out he's actually dead, we're fucked worse than if we just would have just snorted the line. They're gonna send us to Guantanamo Bay or some shit, bro. They'll keep us in the fucking White House basement as chained up sex slaves or some shit, right? And you know what I mean? And he says, listen, man, Biden was already half dead anyways. They're not gonna notice this nigga. We might as well enjoy the party. I mean, we did just get a new lease on life. And I go, fair enough, man. Fair enough, right? You know. Our third homie says, y'all niggas are tripping. I ain't trying to die, bro. This is the worried nigga. This is the worried nigga. The nigga that doesn't see shit fully, right? He's just so worried about being assassinated by the CIA. He's so worried about, the legal ramifications of, killing the president and assassinating him and then, dealing with, the afterblow of this whole thing, right? This is this nigga, this nigga, right? Get a load of this nigga, right? Now he says, y'all niggas tripping. I ain't trying to die. I got a bad feeling about this. And he just heads out. He just leaves, right? He just says, fuck it. Fuck y'all niggas, I'm out. You know what I mean? Screw you, Kyle. I'm going home. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Now, the second in command, Biden, tells me, hey, no worries, man. Have you seen this movie Weekend at Bernie's? And I'm like, this nigga. This nigga. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Just then there's a knock at the door, right? We got a knock at the door. Sir, may I come in? Just doing rounds, making sure everything's going okay, right? It's the same. It sounds like the same dude on the walkie-talkie, right? I don't know if he believed what we were saying on the walkie-talkie. My buddy looks at me and he looks at him. He whispers to me, "You thought, you thought those wait, what the fuck? Oh yeah. No. My buddy looks at me and he okay, sorry about that, guys. It's fucking I couldn't really read this." My buddy looks at me and he looks at him and he whispers to me, you thought those ventriloquist lessons were a waste of money, didn't you, huh? Right? He puts on the sunglasses on fucking Joe Biden, you know, his typical sunglasses. Props his head up in a fashion that looks somewhat presentable. His jaw, you know, slightly gritting still, because when he was dying off of the coke, you know, the fentanyl coke, he had that look of he was gritting his teeth or something, looked kind of angry, right? And at this point, I'm shitting myself. I ain't gonna lie. I'm shitting myself. I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Nobody's gonna believe that this guy is fucking alive, right? And this may be the dumbest shit I've ever fucking participated in, right? Now, come on in, he says, in his best impression so far. The man in the black suit comes in and he said, "Hey Biden, I'm sorry for interrupting you. It just seemed as though you were under a bit of influence. You know what I'm saying?" I spin the chair around with my fucking foot behind the desk. You know what I'm saying? His head tilts back in almost a frustrated look, like you know, you turn your back. He turned his back to the guy, right? He turned his back and his head slumped a little bit over on his desk. His head tilts back in a frustrated look to him, right? You know, like turns his back to him. Now, all right, cocksucker. You see, I'm fine. I'm hanging out with these fine fellow Afro-Americans. Is there anything else you needed? And he goes, "Well, Mr. President," as he steps closer, "hold it right there, Buster. You can tell it to all of us. Whatever you have to say, you can say to all of us." All right, well, sir, just spit it out, Junior. Jeez, this is what my buddy's getting real fucking. The power's already going to his head, right? He's just telling his subordinate what to do. Well, train. You know, he gets kind of flustered. A train holding weapons that we're sending to Ukraine. Yes, I pop the seat. I pop the seat down so the corpse raises his head to lean in, giving it the illusion of interest. Right? I pop the seat down. It goes. The body slumps over like he's like it's fucking a real person. Right? Now this train. It wouldn't have been that bad if just the train we lost, he says. The train got hit by a plane, and that's not it. The plane was carrying fuel from Russia that we were buying up in large supply. And now we lost out on somewhere to the tune of, you know, and then he says, my buddy says, "Silence!" And he interrupts him. I was actually trying to figure out how much money the U.S. just lost. You know what I mean? The military industrial. It was kind of interesting. But he says, "Silence," my buddy interrupts. And then I look at I go to fucking jerk my knee to hit his arm, waving it in emotion, you know, as the fucking dead Biden, you know, dead Biden arm just flails out like, "Silence." It was all a very, you know, very comedy sketch shit. It was very like, I can't believe it's fucking working this far, right? You know, and then my fucking, you know, the Biden clone goes, "We raise the price of gas by 20, you know, $1.20 per gallon," right? This is what he says. "And in the midsummer, close to fall, we drop it by 30 cents right before re-election, and I'll make a statement about the economy, carbon, you know, something about the economy or carbon tax credits fucking being lifted or fucking some bullshit, whatever." I'm like, damn, dude, my buddy could actually fucking, he actually has great ideas for being the president, right? That was an amazing fucking spin on, you know, losing the weapons from Ukraine and this. And the man in black responds, "Very well. I'll leave you alone now, Mr. President." Before exiting, he gives us a very suspicious look, you know, like a once over while he's leaving, and he just shakes his head, and my buddy he shakes his head. No, he doesn't shake his head. Actually, I'm remembering this wrong. What he did is he looked over at us, and my buddy does the flinch thing, like the shit you do in high school. He tried to flinch him, right? I don't know why he did that, and you know what I mean. I point to the dead corpse Biden. I shrug my shoulders and I go, I do the it's over my head thing, right? I'm like, it's I don't know. I don't know how politics work. You know what I'm saying? And now we are knee deep in this government shit, bro. It's too far to, you know what I mean? And I'm sure this is only just the beginning, right? It's only just the beginning. Now, Biden number 2 opens up a drawer from the desk, lights up a cigar and says, well, Jay, how does it feel? I say, what? How does what feel, dude? How does it feel to be the president's assassins? You know what I mean? And dumb enough to stick around? Putting fingerprints everywhere, man? You know what I mean? Are you even listening to me, dude? And my homie just grabs the sitting president's lifeless arms. He puts it over his shoulder. He says, follow me. Follow my lead. I grab the other Biden arm, fling it over my shoulder, and we fucking take the dead body out to the back, you know, back into the party, right? Listen. His head's somehow slumped in a somehow in a presentable fashion. The glasses on him make it look, you know, his eyes aren't rolled back into his skull or anything. As we are making the rounds around the party, I honestly can't believe this shit, man. No one seems the wiser. But it is just a bunch of drunk, you know, and high politicians in the cabinet with their wives, you know what I'm saying? Just commenting, saying, hey, it looks like Biden had one too many to drink, you know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, it's Biden, you need to get me that fucking shit that you're smoking. I said, yeah, we're just gonna go bring him to the coach, right? He's had a little bit too much. He needs a little bit of rest, right? He just needs to lay down, right? We toss him on the couch, and surprisingly, his glasses still stay on. The press secretary stumbles up to him and says, listen, Joe, I know, I'm a little bit tipsy, but I'm not drunk enough to forget your ice cream. She hands him ice cream, right? She just puts it in his hand, right? And by this time, luckily for us, the rigor mortis set in just enough for him to grip the ice cream, right? It didn't just slip out of his hands, right? She says, remember, Joe, you got a very important briefing at 6 a.m. sharp, so try to get some rest. Don't party too hard with your friends. You know what I'm saying? And at this point, we're attached to the hip with this guy, right? Now, Obama comes in, too. This is where Obama comes in. You know, he comes out and he says, no, but I could kind of do a Biden. I'll try to do it. I mean, it's not nearly as important as the Biden, though. No, now Biden. I know. Now Biden. Ah, fuck. Hold on. Now Biden. I know you're not known for throwing your parties like this, but damn it, Joe. I'm Pete. Me and Michelle, we are fucked up. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna hop in the presidential Uber, and he leans in close to Biden. Close enough to Biden's corpse, but just far enough for me and my buddy to hear it. And he whispers, don't party too hard, right? Trump's not in jail yet. That's what he said. I miss working with you, bud. And he just pats him on the back and walks off, right? Now, me and my homie look at each other like, we can't believe this shit's happening, right? We can't believe this shit. Craziest shit ever, man. As the night's progressing, and the drugs and liquor start really setting in, and things go a bit more smoothly, at one point, the Secret Service dude that's been fucking around, the Secret Service dude that kind of fucking's been eyeing us, he brings up, about a dozen kindergartners. This is fucking crazy, because it's 11 p.m., it's past their bedtime, right? He brings up a dozen kindergartners, and he says, take your pick, Mr. President. And this is fucking in front of everybody. This is like it's like when they, when you're having a fucking birthday party at like Hooters. You know what I mean? And they bring out 12 girls and they all sing happy birthday to you, and you fucking, if you got enough game, you pull one, right? But this is the president with kindergartners, right? This is fucking, it's crazy. Craziest shit I ever seen. It says, take your pick, Mr. President. Just as someone sits on the other side of the couch, you know what I'm saying? They sit on the other side of the couch next to Biden, and he goes, Biden's head slums this way. Then fucking I go as quick as I can to sit on the other side, and his head fucking slays that way. So he just giving, you know, giving the no motion. You know what I mean? It's I rushed to the other side of the couch, right? And then he fucking slums his head back, giving the no motion, right? And then the the fucking Secret Service guy, obviously he realizes that he's not interested in, you know, like, I see, you're worried about your briefing tomorrow. No worries, I'll have these children's memories wiped and send them back to home with their parents to their collective states, right? Because these some were fucking, you know, some were the Texas kindergartens. A couple of them were from New York. A couple of them were from fucking California. A few Midwestern Boston. These kindergartens were everywhere right there. And at this point, his ice cream is basically a milkshake, right? I ain't gonna lie. Like, as the night's going on, his ice cream's fucking dripping all over the couch and shit. And it's just a soggy cone. As the party dies down, we take Biden to go to sleep. We throw him in his bed, right, and just sort of hide in his closet. As the party's dying down. All right, we're gonna take the president upstairs, throw him into his fucking bed, right, and just sort of hide in the closet for the night. We set our alarms for 5 a.m. because, man, this nigga's got that important briefing, right? He's got this important briefing. Sometime in the middle of the night, though, there's a knock at the door. And my homie and I both wake up from our slumped. We were kind of like, it was a closet big enough for us to sleep in, but we were kind of like, our legs. We were doing our legs were next to our heads, like the 69 position. You know what I mean? So we were doing it at one point. Start spooning. You know, so we both get up and look at each other in a very comical fashion, right? We look at each other. You know what I'm saying? And there's a voice that calls out, "Hey, honey, I'm coming in." Right? It was Jill Biden, Joe Biden's wife, right? This is fucking wild. And as she comes in, what happens for the next 45 minutes, me and my homies still don't know how it's possible. We've thrown out multiple theories. Maybe fucking, like, when you die, shit comes out of you. Sometimes when you die, all the blood kind of stays in one spot. We don't know how it's going. Sometimes, maybe if you die with an erection, it stays there. Not too sure how it's going. Not too sure how it's possible. And even the movie Weekend at Bernie's doesn't really do a good job of explaining that part of the movie, right? But we swear to God, this fucking bitch got off 3 times during that night, you know what I'm saying? At least. And when she was leaving, right, back to her own room, she said, "Hey, Joe, I'm glad I didn't have to dress up as a little schoolgirl like usual, right? Love ya." She blew a kiss to the corpse and shut the door. My nigga looked at me and said, "Is it weird that the president and his wife don't sleep together? You know what I mean? In the same bed?" I said, "Nigga." I said, "Nigga. She just fucked a dead dude, and you're worried about the sleeping arrangements that the president has, bro?" I'm trying to do the math on how the fuck this dead dude gave her multiple orgasms. Most guys in life can't give one chick one orgasm while they're alive. But this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? My nigga, we just witnessed necrophilia live, my G. I'm still roasting my nigga. I thought this was just a joke that you tell like a dark joke that you tell about the morticians, and it'd be funny, right, if they did that. This nigga, know what I mean? We actually witnessed this shit. I said, let's just sleep, bro, and try to forget what happened, right? Now, cut to, like, morning rolls around. We get Biden ready for his big briefing, right? Get him dressed. We brush his teeth. You know what I mean? Get him dressed. Dough up his hair and shit. Put on his clothes and everything, and we slip a phone in his suit jacket pocket, right? And I call it, and then I give my phone to my homie, right, with the Bluetooth, so he can fucking be the voice of Biden, right? So yeah, what do we say to this? This is what I'm asking, right? What do we say to the staff while? Oh, sorry. I asked my homie this, right? Oh, sorry. I'm fucked. So what do we say to the staff, like, as to why we're still following this nigga around at every given moment, right? And he's like, fucking. My nigga says, don't worry about this. I got it, right? Let me handle it. Now, I'm going to be real. I fell asleep during the movie Weekend, when I watched Weekend at Bernie's. So I had to follow his lead. I just had to be fucking very sure that this motherfucker knew what he was talking about. And it was a logical movie that really makes a lot of sense, right? So I'm just fucking following this dude's lead, right? And he said, the way we make it look like Biden's walking is we attach a couple of strings to his feet, right? And his arms to simulate movement. And I said, oh yeah, so like a puppet. We turned Biden into a puppet. Literally. We turned the president into a puppet. We grabbed him, we orchestrated the strings. We looped it through his kind of like his collar. I got one side of the string, so I was carrying one side. My buddy was carrying the other side, you know what I mean? And he got the legs going down, so he'd move your leg, move his leg. But we had enough space in between us, so it didn't look like we were just holding him up, right? This is fucking, it's kind of genius, to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Kind of genius with my buddy. I mean, not really what my buddy was doing, but just the contraption of it all, because it's the easiest way to become the president, right? We didn't have to really do much other than not sniff that line, you know what I mean? Swap a line of Coke and then, you know what I mean? Just pretend to be the president still. It's crazy. Craziest shit ever. Now there's a knock at the door. Mr. President, almost ready for a briefing? Of course, we're coming out now. He says behind the door, you know what I'm saying? And just then we bust out that door with a series of invisible wires, right? Like we had wires connected to both our feet and our hands interwoven with Biden, right? The men from last night, what are they still doing with you? I thought they'd leave. I thought they'd leave by now, right? Nonsense. You know what I'm saying? They are coming with us to the briefing. I'm starting my appeal to the black demographic, so they are officially part of my newly instated Biden posse, right? The man in black was too stunned to say anything, you know what I'm saying? He just stayed silent until we got to that boardroom, right? Now, we enter the room is full of deep state high-ups. These are the motherfuckers, right? These are the motherfuckers that run the shit. The shadow puppeteers, if you will, to our regular, ordinary broad daylight puppeteers. Because remember, we had them on strings. Now, it took a full 3 minutes. I mean, we were struggling to get Biden to sit in. We had to time it correctly. We had to both sit in the chair and have him, you know what I mean? And it looked very awkward. Took 3 full minutes, man, to fucking get Biden to sit in that motherfucking chair, man. Now, mind you, we weren't touching him or anything. So we had to do it like at the right fucking angle, and everything had to be calculated. So we're like, looking at each other. It looked very fucking suspicious, right? I thought we were gonna get found out, right? But I had his left side of strings all bunched up too, right? I accidentally fucking, when we came through the door, his left side of the strings got bunched up with his feet, feet strings, and it was like causing him to give like an appearance of like, it started like his arm getting caught, and it looked like he was having a stroke on on the left side of his body, right? We finally got him sat in the chair, and one of our reptilian overlords, started commenting saying, "Hey, that was a lot quicker than last meeting." Claimed, meeting. Clone Biden responds with, my buddy, responds with, "Yeah, I've been practicing all night." In unison, they all laugh in unison. You know what I mean? Like they're not even people, right? This is fucking crazy, right? One of the head guys starts taking charge. This dude, this dude looked like, I'd say, is there like I'm trying to think, like a dude with, like, if Jason Statham and fucking Bruce Willis were, all like the bad guys in their movies, right? This is what they look. Little bit of Jason Statham, a little bit of Bruce Willis, but in their collective movies, there's always like an evil guy, and he had a scar on his face. You know what I mean? Right through his eye. He just looked like he looked like a motherfucking. He looked like a Nazi, to be honest, right? But he was fucking he's kind of jacked and shit. Old ass dude, hair kind of gray, grizzled beard. He gets up and he says, "Now, the first order of business. I gotta say, COVID-19 was a success, but much like the Star Wars sequels, the more variants we released, the less receptive they were to the public was to the propaganda. The more we released, the more they just could care less. Now, Joe Rogan, he continues. Joe Rogan continues to invade the media censors. We're throwing crazy bombs at this dude. Bill in our PSYOP department suggests that we assassinate him in 2024 and get a clone to look like, who looks like him, start pushing the eating bugs agenda, right? As a health kick. Are you on board so far, Mr. President? He looks over to Biden, right? I look up and I wave the wire to simulate the salute, wave it to simulate a salute, right? But it ended up to, I accidentally I didn't catch it right on guard, so it just did this, and slowly lowered like a 1940s salute, and it turned very 1940s Germany, right? Now, perfect. All right, gentlemen, and this continues. The Bud Light campaign was a success. Everyone started shooting cans of beer, increasing the price of ammunition. Now, right before we started selling arms to Ukraine, soon it'll be roughly the same price of a few boxes of 223s will match the price of the same fucking rifle you put it in. God bless Tom Cruise. That's what he said, right? I looked at me and my buddy look at each other like, what the fuck? And he responds in the Biden accent and goes, God bless Tom Cruise, right? God. They all, God bless Tom. They all said that. Now, for the PSYOPs in 2024, the Kanye West drone we had is kind of malfunctioning. When we killed him back when the real Kanye said George Bush don't care about black people, it got a little wacky. And he's now upsetting the Jews a bit more than we're used to, right? Now we got a bit too many people siding with this Palestine thing and the Palestine and Israel conflict. So we had to what we had to do was pay off Israel Adesanya to lose to Strickland just to garner sympathy for Israel and the Jews. It was risky, but we do see an uptick in support for Israel Google searches. So next year, we're going to get Mia Khalifa to release a Netflix documentary coming out saying, coming out against the absurdities about Muslim culture, and we'll pull back to where we need to be, right? And I am at this point in the meeting, I am like, yo, this is fucked. I am sitting back, and my homie's going like, yeah, because my homie's one of those niggas that, you know what I mean? He's like, yep, you know what I mean? The Jews control the weather, yep, this and all of that. We haven't been to the moon type conspiracy. That's what my homie's out like. I play it down the middle, man. I'm like, all right, can it happen? Can it? No, listen, all of this shit, they control everything, bro. They're going deep. This is literally maybe the first 10 minutes of the meeting, right? We're fucking just going, back and forth. Oh, not really back and forth. We're just trying to get an understanding going. But I'm looking at my buddy like throughout the meeting going like, this is fucking crazy. Can't believe they even let us in just because, Biden said we're part of the posse. Crazy, right? So the guy goes, moving on. Tucker Carlson leaving Fox was a success. JFK files, the JFK files are now as out there. If you question, the assassination of JFK, it's now as crazy as the Obama's gay trans wife conspiracy, right? The two conflict. We are now officially 2 months away from connecting the dots to where if you believe the CIA assassinated JFK, you are a transphobic, bigoted racist. This is the final stress. This is the finale, guys. Can't stress this enough, right? This meeting went on, I can't, this meeting went on for 4 hours, right? I'll tell you, this shit got wild, man. I'll tell you guys, this shit got wild. It got crazy, right? It's a bunch of shit that I don't know if I need to be mentioning, but the meeting wrapped up, right, with Nancy Pelosi's top stock picks. Like we were watching Jim Cramer or something. She just got on the board, said, all right, guys, invest in Apple. You know what I mean? All right, because we're going to give them leeway. Invest in Apple right now because they're going to drop the price. And then it's going to obviously go up once they get the iPhone. But the UK just put a ban on it. She's going in about what's going down in the next 3 to 4 year cycles. It was crazy. Craziest shit ever, right? And I look over at my buddy. My buddy's writing a lot of the stocks down. I go, God damn it, dude. You know what I mean? You're not going to be able to buy the fucking things that they find out we're fucking this up, right? I was fucking tripping still. Right. Now, we left the meeting as awkward as we came in, right? It was just a bunch of like stumbling. At one point, my buddy got his wire caught underneath the leg. So like it almost looked like Biden didn't want to leave. It's like, oh, and then they made the sleeping Joe Biden fucking joke, right? Little did they know this nigga actually dead, right? But I digress. Over the next few months leading up to the presidential, re-election, we fucking were running shit smoother than a fucking, I don't know, oil-based machine. I don't know how to call it, whatever. But things were going smoothly, right? We successfully got Trump locked up for fucking mean speech. We fucking got him. You know what I mean? We got him, boys. We got Elon Musk on the payroll. We started paying that nigga off after he couldn't turn people saying nigger, kike, faggot, and etc. on Twitter into a profitable fucking business. You know what I mean? We just said, come over to the dark side, baby. And, brought the platform back to where it started spewing our agenda again. Silencing the right and basically pumping out fully blown ad campaigns under the guise of journalism, right? We even got Kamala Harris polls numbers up after we introduced ChatGPT to ghostwrite her speeches, making her sound less like a robot, right? You know what I mean? That was actually my buddy's idea, right? He did that. He's like, yeah, just get this bitch to, all heard ChatGPT, and then they looked at each other and they're like, yeah. I'll give this bitch get this bitch on it. And they're like, yo, that's actually fucking poll numbers shot up, right? Now, yeah, everything was going to plan. And it was a surefire way to rig the election. The day of winning, this is on election day. The day when we won the second term was tough because by that time, Biden was basically rotting flesh, right? But it didn't matter. It was 400 million votes for Biden. 400 complete landslide. Complete unanimous victory. 400 million votes for this guy. Everybody in America voted for him, right? You know what I mean? Everyone, well, technically for me and the homie, right? Because remember, we still got him on strings for the entire campaign. You know what I mean? And like, we were fucking running shit, right? We were, we had 4 years of bliss, right? We had we'd have Biden. We'd go to we traveled the world when we were making speeches. We got to pretty much know exactly what his wife likes because she fucking talked to all day in and day out. And at a certain point, it just became normal to have us around. We'd stand in the background while he's giving speeches. We made history. We went down as the two best friends of Biden, right? And it was fun, and it was great. And a lot of people would say, hey, listen, that Weekend at Bernie's movie was ridiculous. It was ridiculous to drag out 2 whole movies. The thing, but man, me and my buddy, we did that for 4 straight years, right? And not gonna lie, man, not gonna lie, it got a little tricky. We started we hired a couple, consultants for his makeup wardrobe because it was like his skin was falling off, and we had to, mid speeches, we'd have to fucking put his fucking skin back together. But all in all, right, it was great. It was fun, and I'm not gonna say how we got out, Okay, I'll tell you how. So what happened was, I really wish I watched the Weekend at Bernie's. I'm not saying how we got out, but there's this guy trying to assassinate Biden, right? And me and my homie, we're like, he's on it was the way out, right? He did 2 terms. We lived a lavish life. We had a great time. It was amazing. We got the most juice out of being fake presidents as we could possibly, right? We got to travel. We did everything. We had the motherfucking juice, right? We had the power. And the Jews, actually. We'll say it. And the Jews were under our thumb, right? We did everything we wanted to do, right? Now, Trump was still in jail at this time. And he was fucking pissed. He was pissed, right? So we got word that there's some sort of assassination attempts, right? Couple of attempts at a couple of speeches, right? But again, like fucking comically, fucking his head was so slumped down. He kept dodging bullets. You know what I mean? He's just because we'd go no one moves like a dead body moves when you have it on strings. So the dude sniping Biden was trying to get him, right? But me and my homie, we're like, yo, at this point, we gotta at least, because we can't the strings at this point were getting rusted over. The little wires, right? The metal wires were rusted over. And a lot of one snapped off one time, and we fucking had to take him to. We had to say this is a presidential potty break, and we brought him to the fucking washroom and fucking reanimated the string back together, right? So we had this idea that we get a fucking guy to fucking ex-nay the president, right? But then we also found out Trump was fucking trying to get him. So we worked with Trump, right? Trump got this killer, right? This guy, the silencer, the same dude that I think he paid off to kill Stormy Daniels back in 2026, right? So this shit was crazy. This dude, like we paid him to assassinate the you know what I mean? Because we still were on pretending that it was he's still alive, even to the fucking assassin. So we gave, and at this point, all the money that Biden's getting is going into our pockets. All the little dirty cash, we're getting we were fucking making money off the stock picks, right? We're balling, right? So we paid this assassin to come through and shoot up Biden's at the crib, right? But we had to do it at one of the briefings. So while we're at the briefing, right, we say, hey, listen, I ordered pizza, right? This is my buddy. You know, he tells the guys, I ordered pizza for everybody, right? Now the pizza guy was the dude, in corny fucking movie type fashion shit. He pulls out the thing and says, I got a delivery for Biden. You know what I mean? So, it's the stupidest shit ever. And he just shoots Biden in front of everybody, and then and they catch him, and he goes to jail, but we make sure his family gets paid off and shit. And then we kind of go like, hey, listen, we were introduced through Biden. We're going to take a step out of this shit. It's crazy. We lost our homie. We're going to have to do a whole lot of nigga shit. That's what we said. And they're like, yeah, no worries. And what we did, we poured out a 4 or whatever. You know what I mean? We poured out soda on their floor and shit. That's what we did. And we did back to the crib. And you know, that's how we got out of that. So that's the story of the time when me and my buddy were pretending to be Biden. That's the weekend at Biden's for you. Ladies and gentlemen, that's been the weekend show. Like and subscribe. Hopefully you believe that story. It's kind of unbelievable, but it was actually, I had to come. It's kind of like the JFK files. I have to come out with this. I had to tell my story. Like Monica Lewinsky, right? A lot of people don't believe she gave, well, a lot of people. Till the president said it, right? No. So anytime you see Biden up there, just remember, he's just there. Because after we got him assassinated and we left, they kept using the corpse, dude. He was like, they took the bullets out. They kept using the corpse, right?